What's good, everybody? It's man Big Don coming live and at you with another TruPlayaz podcast episode on August 16th, 9:30 in the morning. Just about that time. It's been a minute since I spoke to you guys, and we're just back. I want to talk about the Mets being swept by the Dodgers and how the baseball landscape has changed after the All-Star break. But before I get to that, I want to send out prayers to all my fellow Haitians down in Haiti. Um, Pray for Haiti. They were hit with a earthquake of a 7.2 magnitude on Saturday, August 14th, ironically the day before my father's birthday. Over by the earthquake hit Jeremy, which is I believe a few miles away from where my father's family is from, which is Kai. Um, right now, the death toll is at over close to 1,300 people who have died because of the earthquake. There's still people under the rubble, for what I've been told, and I've been in contact with some people down there. They tell me they're fine, but the devastation is very bad. It's very grave. Um, this time, this earthquake hit the southern part of Haiti. I just ask that you guys send prayers out to Haiti as they go through another devastation, a tragedy. It started with the death of the president, Jovenel Moise, and now the earthquake has hit them now. Like I said, just send our prayers out to the Haiti right now. And if you got family in Haiti, always get in contact with them, make sure they're okay. Um, I've been hearing don't donate to Red Cross. I agree. Don't donate to Red Cross. Do your research. Find out which reputable charity organization your donation could be given to in order to really help Haiti get back to recover from this. I want to give a big shout out to Naomi Osaka, who has pledged her prize money to the efforts to help Haiti in this crisis. Shout out to her. Um, like I said, it's a devastation that the country didn't need, but it happened again. But Haiti is strong. Haiti is resilient, and we will recover from this. We will rise again. Just remember that, and the only way you do it is with unity. Union makes strength, and just make sure you guys remember that. Make sure we all remember that to get over any tragedy, any pandemics and things like that. It takes unity to get over it, not division, not bullying. Unity. And on that note, let's get back to the sports aspect of this podcast. And before I get into the Mets, I want to talk about the Knicks briefly. I'm kind of excited about the team that's coming up this year. Um, they re-signed Derrick Rose, 3 years, 43 mil. They re-signed Nerlens Noel, and they re-signed Alec Burks. They picked up Evan Fournier, 4 years, $78 million. I don't know if he's worth that money, but hey, we got a better scorer than we had with Bullock. Even though Bullock played some great defense, you know, he's not as a consistent scorer as Fournier. And if Fournier plays like he did in the Olympics, the Knicks will be okay. But the coup de grace of the Knicks signing, which not many people believe is a coup de grace, is Kemba Walker coming over after being bought out by the Oklahoma City Thunder for 2 years, $18 million, in which the Thunder is going to cover the difference of that amount of his big contract that he signed with Boston. Big pickup. If he can stay healthy, the Knicks got something good going to happen this year. However, the Knicks could do more. There's a free agent out there that I'm kind of like interested in kicking the doors on, which is JJ Redick. Should the Knicks sign JJ Redick on that squad to add more shooting, to spread the floor out for Julius Randle to do his thing in the post, give more space for RJ Barrett to drive to the basket, dish and kick or dish and dunk. Will that help the Knicks? Do the Knicks even have more salary cap space to make that happen? I believe they do, but let's see what happens. Let's see what Leon Rose and Scott Perry will come up with in the next coming weeks. Still early in the offseason. The summer league is going good. I expect big things from Obi Toppin. I expect big things from Emmanuel Quickly this season as well. So this team's going to be good and deep. So I'm going to segue over now to the New York Yankees, which had my man Mark. Last time I did a podcast, I had my man Mark on the podcast, and I was making fun of him about the New York Yankees and all that stuff at work and things like that. But guess what, ladies and gentlemen? The Yankees are now the best team in New York, once again. And how can I say this? You can never question a team that's been in the playoffs 3 out of the 4 of the years, been to an ALC has both 2 out of the 4 years. You can never count them out. They always got something planned. They made some big trades. They got Anthony Rizzo. They got I think Talbot, I believe. And now the team is starting to hit their stride. Garrett Cole is coming back from his COVID situation today, and he'll start. I believe the Yankees are 11 games over 500, 12 games over 500 this time. But the Yankees are not hitting their stride. And we're going to see what happens. They're 2.5 games behind Boston Red Sox. And it's going to be interesting on that side of town. But I'm going to focus on the New York Mets right now, in which, injuries after injuries since the All-Star break has brought this team down to 1 game over 500. Mind you, this team has not played great baseball the entire season. They were hovering at most. They probably got at most 6 games over 500, which is mediocre baseball. They were in first place for most of the season since May. They ran to a buzzsaw. They lost some games to the Marlins, which they should not have lost to. They got swept by the Dodgers. They're about to go on a big time West Coast trip, which you're going to face the first place Giants and the Dodgers once again, 7 days straight, starting tonight in San Francisco. I remember Pete Alonso mentioned something a few days ago about how the team is still keeping that smile and things like that. As a fan, I don't want to hear that. Keep your smile while you're losing? No. You need to find a way to win some ball games. This is game time right now. People's contracts, people are losing significant money off their season. Most importantly, Michael Conforto. He's losing a lot of fucking money off this year. Because he's so focused on his contract and not focusing on delivering on the field. Is it because of his agent, Scott Boras? Yeah, I think it has a lot to do with it. Because I think Michael Conforto is scared that Scott Boras is going to try to take him to the team that's going to the highest bid for him. And I believe wholeheartedly, I believe Michael Conforto wants to stay with the New York Mets. He wants to stay with them. But he has to get his head out of his contract situation and start becoming a player that he is, that he's supposed to be. Would you believe the top average on the New York Mets is Dom Smith at 253? Batting 253, he's the top average. I need to double check that because I know Nimmo has been hot over the past few games. I need to double check that. But the last time I saw, Dom Smith was the top hitter on the team, batting average wise. Yeah, Dom Smith, 253. So the DeGrom goes down due to elbow inflammation. Word is not an ACL. It's not a UCL injury to his elbow, which is good. So there's no Tommy John surgery, things like that. They're gonna hold him off. Hopefully, he'll be back by September. But I can't wait for Syndergaard to come back. Everybody who's been talking crap about Syndergaard needs to come out the bullpen to start. Let me tell you something. If you've seen our starting pitching right now, if Syndergaard can give me 5 innings, I'm good with that. The bullpen is taxed. The bullpen is tired. We got a bunch of guys. I don't even know their names anymore. They brought in some guys yesterday. I don't even know who they were. It's sad that I knew the position players that came in and pitched the 9th inning last night more than I did the pitches that they threw out there from the bullpen. We have another Diaz and some guy with the last name start with H. I can't pronounce his last name right now. Like, what are we doing? We need to stop being injured. We need to start getting healthy again. And this team, for the most part of the season, has been playing mediocre baseball. You can't dispute that. You can't hide that. You can't hide that fact. As much of a good job Louis Rojas has done since May with navigating this team through the injuries and navigating this team to a first place at the All-Star break. His job is now in jeopardy now. He will be fired at the end of the season if this Mets team does not make the playoffs. The Mets against the Dodgers lost some heartbreaking games. First two games, they came back from 4-1 down to tie the game in the seventh inning, the first game against the Dodgers. And then Taijuan Walker pitched a hell of a game Saturday night. Took a no-hitter into the seventh inning, a 6 1/3 no-hit game, and the wheels fell off. And then he gave up a home run, which tied up the game 1-1. And then the bullpen, you know what it is, big hits by the Dodgers, big home runs. And then yesterday it was like, what are we doing? Was it 14-4 or 15-4? They lost yesterday. It doesn't matter. They still lost anyway. They get swept by the Phillies. They did sweep the Nationals. Yes, they did. But they lost some games against the Marlins. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We have a team 59-58, 1 game over 500, 2.5 games out of first place. And in all due respect, the manager's on a hot seat right now. He's on a hot seat right now. Cookie Carrasco yesterday pitched only 2 innings, gave up 6 runs. 6 earned runs. All this feel-good story about the Mets is coming back. The Mets are back. The Mets are a different team than when the Wilpons run this team. Guess what? This losing, how they fall from the pinnacle of the division, feels like is Wilponish. Moves need to be made. It's too late now, but if their team doesn't make the playoffs, we have to really consider certain players on this team, their value to the team. I'm sorry to say that much as I love Michael Conforto as a player, you have to reconsider his position. As far as Marcus Stroman, he talks too much. He has too much fake swag, I call it. Fake swag. You can't have swag and not produce. What's his record? 7-11 or something like that? He started off great this season. This started off great. At the time when your ace, DeGrom, is out, we need him to step up and pitch much better. I think Taijuan Walker pitched much better than Marcus Stroman this year. Much better. You know? I don't particularly care for Marcus Stroman as a player. The Mets need to look at themselves and realize that, did you really had to give up on Steven Matz? Well, Marcus Stroman is giving you, Steven Matz gave you the same production. And you're paying Marcus Stroman what $18 million on a qualifying offer? And what is he going to ask in the offseason? More? He doesn't deserve more. He's still to try and be a tough guy instead of work on his craft of pitching well. I see how when he pitches, he shows up his players when they make an error. That's unprofessional and very disrespectful to your teammates. And your teammates are not going to love you for that. Marcus, tell me when was the last time you won a Cy Young Award? I'll wait. Crickets, huh? You never won a Cy Young Award, so shut the fuck up and stop acting like you did. And just pitch better. Because you needed to pitch better right now. Stop this bullshit, talking or whatever you've been doing the entire season, the past 2 years you've been here. We don't want to hear that shit. We want you to pitch well. Plain and simple. The Mets need to start to win. And I'm telling you, this schedule right now, playing the Giants, the Dodgers, and I believe they're playing the Giants back at home right after this little trip. This series, if they don't win, they need to. Let me tell you something. In order for them to even think about winning a division, I'm gonna make a bold statement. They need to go at least 6-1 on this road trip. They need to go 6-1. I believe they're playing 4 in San Francisco and 3 in LA, I believe. But whatever, they only need during that trip. They only could lose one game because the Phillies are hitting their stride. Never discount the Phillies right now, man. The Phillies have a pitching staff. They got the ex-Met Zach Wheeler, but he's making me eat a whole lot of crow right now. So I remember when he was a free agent, I told everybody on my podcast, listen, he ain't worth $118 million. And he's making me eat crow right now. Zach Wheeler has figured it out. He's not walking the park anymore. He's going deep into games. What is the average? At least 6 2/3 a start now. You gotta give credit to his manager, Joe Girardi. You gotta give credit to that. A championship manager who knows how to win and who was a catcher. Which position has the best feel of the game, other than the catcher? Aaron Nola's pitching well. The Phillies were struggling early in the season. They came strong. Now they're in second place now, but this is the problem I have. The Atlanta Braves. Everybody was laughing at the Atlanta Braves. Oh, finally the Braves are going to be the third worst team in the division. How could you say that about a team who last year was in the National League Championship Series? And guess what happened? They got going. They got on a roll. And guess what? They're in first place now without their star player, Ronald Acuna. Just like that. With that 7 games over 500 right now? And I don't think they're going to stop. They're going to keep rolling. They're going to keep rolling. And they did this all without their star player. And this is the reason why Luis Rojas' job is on the line right now. Because all our star offensive players, for the most part, has been there. Forget about Lindor and Baez right now. They're hurt, but Baez is having a better season than Lindor. Lindor has not really did anything this season. He's batting .215. Even though he got hot before he got hurt, he's still batting .215. So that's something everyone needs to understand that Luis Rojas is on the hot seat right now. This team has to get into the playoffs. And I don't think him playing in a 1-game wild card is enough to keep his job. Uncle Steve is trying to be positive with the players, but I think deep down he is fed up. Fed up. So, it is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. The Mets are struggling. The Mets need to win these series. And I don't think they have the pitching to do that. I really don't think so. There's a lot of suspect players on this team that I don't like. I'm not a big fan of. We got James McCann. excuse me, you sign him for a 4-year, $40 million contract. I am not impressed with him. He has done nothing for me this year that shows that he's better than Wilson Ramos. Other than played better defense, but his defense ain't up to par. He couldn't catch a ball to tag a player against the Dodgers. I seen that. Thomas Nito seems like the better player, better catcher on the team, as far as with the pitching staff, better offensive player right now. And that doesn't. And Thomas Nito's not a really good offensive player. What's going on with Pete Alonso? What's going on? Most importantly, what's going on with Jeff McNeil? This guy was 2 years removed from being in the All-Star. 2 years removed from being an All-Star for the National League. What has happened to him? What has happened to him? Do we got to put an APB out on Jeff McNeil? I seen that at a bet. I'm not sure if it was yesterday's game or the game on Saturday. The Mets had first and I believe had first and second in the later innings, and Jeff McNeil was up to hit. The Dodgers had just made a pitching change, or the pitcher was walking the moon. I forgot. I have to go back and look, but the moral of the story is that McNeil swings at the very first pitch and pops it up. In those situations, you can tell this team is pressing. The team is pressing. I believe there were 5 for 27 with runners in scoring position the entire series. 5 for 27. You know, people need to understand what's going on with this team right now. What is going on with this team? They can't hit, and they don't even have the pitching to hide their weak hitting. Hey, what are we doing? Was firing Chili Davis the smart thing to do? I think his fire was personal, if you ask me. But that's not for me to speak about on this podcast. I'm not going to go there. But the Mets need to figure this shit out. Otherwise, next season we're going to have a new manager. We're going to have a new GM. We're going to have a new president of operations, which most likely will, in my opinion, will be Theo Epstein. And we go from there. I want to touch a little bit on the New York Jets as I'm getting over the disappointment of the Mets right now. Let's talk about the New York Jets a little bit. I did not watch the preseason game. I did watch a little bit of the highlights. Zach Wilson looks great. Yeah. He's doing everything that Sam Darnold could have done had they kept Sam Darnold. I've seen Corey Davis make a few catches and things like that. The prize free agent wide receiver that they got. Denzel Mims had 3 catches. I think it was with the second team or third team. Denzel Mims is going to, I believe, should be a big player. I know he had the stomach virus earlier, the food poisoning, which kind of slowed up his process, learning new offense and things like that. But I think you need a big body receiver. Even in the West Coast type offense, you need a big receiver for those red zone, one-on-one jump ball, touchdown plays. I like Robert Saleh as the new head coach. I like him a lot. Brings energy. You could tell the team respects him. You know what I'm saying? He respects the players. The team respects him. He's not arrogant. Very humble guy, but fiery. He'll get in your ass. Like he said, all gas, no brakes. So I can't wait to see this team in the regular season, see what they do. They beat the Giants in the preseason game 12-7. Nothing to talk about here. On the Giants side, of my left, of course, we have my man Mark We're gonna do a next podcast about the Giants, and we'll dig deep into football on the next podcast when I have them on. And before I end the podcast right now, I want to speak to Instagram about my account at swag_lover being hacked, and how they did not do anything about it. I find it very disturbing that they did not do anything about it. I've sent them numerous emails, sent them numerous requests to report my old swag_lover page, to remove that it has been hacked, and to please remove it. Their excuse, what they told me through their little message, that it does, what the person's doing on my account does not violate community guidelines. However, Instagram, you will suspend people's accounts that talk about the vaccine. But a person who hacks into another person's profile, who steals their profile, steals their memories off their profile, does not go against your community guidelines. Does that make sense, ladies and gentlemen? Really, does that make any sense right now? But don't worry, I created a new profile, which is okay, but I still would like my old IG account to be removed, or find a way for me to regain control of it so I can close it. That's all I'm asking. It's not that hard, Instagram, to do that. All you have to do is contact me when I send you information. When I send you notification that has been hacked, all I ask you to do is have someone contact me through a legitimate email, not through notifications on Instagram. That's all I freaking ask. Can you do that, Instagram? I've lost potential business partners because of this hack. I lost a lot of money because of this hack. And you guys just sit there idly by and let it happen. On that note, I'm going to end the podcast. You can listen to the podcast on Anchor, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeart Radio, TuneIn Radio, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify. I think I mentioned that before. TuneIn Radio. You're going to watch a video version on YouTube. Just search for YouTube. You search for TruPlayaz Podcast, TruPlayaz podcast on YouTube. And also, please subscribe to the channel, and also check out the updates that comes on with the podcast. All right? It's your man, Big Dom. I'm signing off on this podcast. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.